there, Elizabeth Scala here. Today I want to talk to you about household items that you can locate in your home and use if you cannot get to therapy. So you may find yourself with transportation issues, being unable to drive because of your injury or accident, and it's great to get rides from family, friends, neighbors, workers, coworkers, what have you. But some days you just can't get to therapy. So what I would suggest and what I've done is I had my occupational therapy staff print out a list of my activities. And then I have looked around my family home for items that I could use to mimic these activities. Definitely follow the rules, guidelines, restrictions, whatever your physical therapist or occupational therapist has placed upon you. And with that caveat, you can have some fun at home. So I'm not going to go through all of these, but these are just some of the household items that I have found. So for example, we all have kitchen or bath towels. And in my therapy, one of my exercises used to be towel slides, being able to move my arm, my injury at my elbow, away from my body. And if you want to make it more difficult, you just move the distance of the table away from you. But a bathroom or kitchen towel is easy to find to do something like that. Another thing that my therapy staff had me doing was something called dowel rolls. And it was a cylinder, kind of this shape and size. It might have been a little tiny bit thicker. But I found a crescent roll dough sheet. You could find anything that's a cylinder shape in your household. And my activity at therapy was to roll pressing in with my palm on the dowel, okay? And of course, at my therapy, when I went to occupational therapy at hands-on therapy, we used timers to do all these activities. So again, if you need to time yourself, you can pull out your cell phone. In the clock app, of course, put a timer on, 2 minutes of dowel rolling. Another thing I want to point out is, okay, so I had to do wrist flexion and extension, an activity where I had a 2-pound weight. And if you don't have a weight, you can look around the house for something heavy, like a can of soup or a can of beans, right? And use that to do your activity. Now, I also, at our therapy office, we used to put our arms on a ramp. So I have a yoga block here that I'm using. If you don't have a yoga block, I also pulled out Tupperware. I mean, you have to have storage of some kind, right? Just the idea is to have that arm up, and then you're doing the activity on that surface. So again, something you can easily find around the home. I know that we did in my therapy activities paint rolling, where I would take the paint roller and literally slide it up and down a wall. Made me cry at times because I'm an avid painter, and when my arm was really injured, I couldn't do it. But I found this, this is like a lint remover, and I can use this as my paint roller. Finally, let's see, what else we have? Straps, bands. I did go into my toolbox, so I have a toolbox that I still had from college, so it's my personal tools, 20 years old, something like that. And at my occupational therapy, one of my activities listed is called Pro Soup Wand. So they would give me a wand, and then they would have a couple of dowels at the end, little twisty things with weight at the end. So I have a couple things here because it depends on where you're at with regard to your injury. So this is a hammer, and I'm rotating it, doing my Pro Soup rotations, and I notice, it's a little heavy for me. So I also found this doodad, I don't even know what it's called, and that's a little bit lighter, so it's easier for me to do. And not saying easier to make it too easy, but you don't want to be hurting yourself, of course. Like I mentioned, follow your restrictions and limitations or rules or guidelines from your therapist. And finally, a screwdriver. This is the lightest one, and I probably would have used this fresh out of surgery. But that being said, you can certainly do all of your activities from home, if not all, many of activities from home. I had a 2-page list here, which used to take me about 45 minutes to an hour to do at my therapy practice. So I found as many things as I could do, and you could do the same. For any questions, comments, yoga, or Qigong inquiries, visit me at elizabethscala.com. Enjoy the day. Thank you.